I was in tears when the Dawson heir broke up with me. He frowned impatiently. "You love me that much?" Then transferred 10 million to me as a breakup fee. I covered my mouth and ran off, heartbroken. Everyone thought I was head over heels for him, the ultimate lovesick fool. Until that day. My Weibo account accidentally got exposed. Cold fish, hard-ass mule. God, that idiot pissed me off. Finally dumped him. Tee-hee. Luke crushed his wine glass with a blank expression and sent me a message. "Here's another 10 million. Just don't let me catch you." 3 weeks into dating, Luke texted to break up. I didn't give up and rushed over to confront him. In the dimly lit private room, in front of his buddies, I bit my lip hard and choked out, "Babe, are you really leaving me?" Luke lounged on the couch, cigarette between his fingers. "Yeah, let's end it," he said lazily, tone cold. "No, tell me what I did wrong, I'll fix it. I was a mess, crying like a dog, pain crushing my chest." After a few seconds of silence, Luke stubbed out his cigarette, frowned, and met my red, teary eyes, clearly annoyed and unsure. "You love me that much?" I nodded tearfully. "So much, babe." His frown deepened, lips pressed into a hard line. Moments later, 10 million landed in my bank account. Luke turned away and coldly dismissed me. "This is compensation. Forget me." My face went pale, my body swayed like I was about to collapse. "Fine, just as you wish." Tears streaming, I covered my mouth and ran off under everyone's sympathetic stares. Behind me, someone couldn't help muttering, "Luke, giving her money like that, it's just straight up humiliation." She really looked pitiful, like she was gonna fall apart. "So, should I go take the money back?" Luke's hesitant voice drifted over. I ran faster. The night breeze was cold, the street nearly deserted. I squatted under a street lamp, eyes still glistening, face full of gloom. The system scratched its head, trying to comfort me. "Sweetie, don't be too sad. At least the mission's done." I lowered my gaze and touched the scab on my hand, an old cut from a fall when I was delivering breakfast to Luke. "You think I looked broken too?" What a weird feeling. System. Huh? Like a nun caught in a sex scandal. The system froze, totally losing it. "You were acting? Come on, that performance deserves an Oscar." I stood up and stretched lazily. After my sudden death, I was bound to this romance system and sent here. It told me I could return to my world only by successfully wooing a high-quality man and staying in a relationship with him for at least 3 weeks. It picked my target. Luke, heir to the Dawson Group. Rich, hot, emotionally cold, 5 stars on the difficulty scale. I spent months chasing him, playing the devoted lover. Even the system thought I'd actually fallen for him. But Luke never budged. Then one day, out of nowhere, he agreed to date me but still kept his distance. He wouldn't even hold my hand. The whole relationship depended on me clinging to him. But that didn't matter. Smiling, I pulled out my phone and checked my balance. "Hey, system, can I take the money with me?" As expected of a corporate heir, 10 million. No hesitation. "Nope." Great. All that crying and begging? Worthless. Since the system needed a few days to upload the completed task, and I couldn't take the money with me, I decided to splurge before I left. Sports, cars, penthouses, shopping sprees. I lived like a total queen in a world of luxury. That night, I hit the club all dressed up. On my way out of the bathroom, I just so happened to bump into one of Luke's friends. "Jennifer, here to see Luke?" No, we're done." I waved him off and tried to sneak away. Still so heartbroken. His childhood sweetheart's back in town, they're throwing a welcome party. "I'll take you in." He gave me this sympathetic look like, "You're obviously not over him," then dragged me into a VIP room despite my protests. Inside, Luke sat with his usual aloof air, a sweet-looking girl beside him. "You're Luke's ex, right?" Pathetic, clingy bitch. No wonder he dumped you. You're not good enough for him. Stay away from him from now on. Jessica shot me a venomous glare, her voice dripping poison. Yeah, you're perfect. He deserves you. Life's boring, and now a toad wants to lecture humans. Task complete, I wasn't playing nice anymore. Who cared if Luke liked it? I strolled over, crossed my legs, and poured myself a drink. Jessica was livid, clutching her chest like she was going to faint into Luke's arms. Luke! She insulted me. Luke's face darkened and suddenly stood. Jennifer! Looked like he was going to defend her. Jessica lunged, trying to grab his arm. Luke. But before she touched him, Luke sat back down, stared at me, and said coolly, "You're out of line." Me? That's it? Awkward silence followed. Someone tried to break the tension. We're all friends here. Let's just drink. Jessica, don't push her. She's just heartbroken. She started it. Jessica sniffled, flipping the blame. Honestly, I found her so dumb it was almost cute, pitiful, really. Talking to you is a waste of time. I'd rather scroll Weibo. Play dumb if you want, but don't overdo it. You sound like a delusional goldfish with amnesia. Jessica shrieked and nearly fainted. Everyone thought I was devastated and emotionally unstable, so they told her to let it go. Amid the chaos, I noticed Luke's lips twitch, huh? Was that a smile? Oh, must have been out of sheer disbelief. Jessica calmed down a bit, then suddenly smirked maliciously. So, you play on Weibo? Wonder what your account says. Just a dog begging for love? Mind sharing it with the group? My face stiffened. I just surf and watch gossip, I muttered. Jessica wasn't having it. She was clearly out to humiliate me. Just got your number, she sneered, waving her phone. She opened the app and typed it in. My face went ghostly pale. I didn't have time to stop her. I could only watch helplessly as the screen loaded into the profile of the wolf in a cold-skin wrapper. I must have looked so shaken that Luke frowned, his voice suddenly cold, with a hint of warning. Turn it off. Don't look. Guess he still had a conscience, feeling guilty for how he treated me, the lovesick loser. Jessica, hell-bent on embarrassing me, not only ignored him, but cast the profile to the big screen for everyone to see. I couldn't stay. I shot up and stormed out the door. Gotta head home, the mosquitoes there, haven't eaten all day. They all thought my clingy girl diary was about to be exposed and I fled in shame. Little did they know, every post was just me complaining about Luke. If I hadn't run, I'd be screwed. Not long after I left, the room fell silent as everyone stared at the big screen. Prince Charming, my ass. Guess that makes me the fricking princess. Doesn't reply to good morning texts. Cool. Not Luke's fault. It's mine for not having more boyfriends. Cold fish, hard-ass mule. God, I'm so done with this idiot who keeps ignoring me. Finally broke up. 10 million in the bank. Tee. In dead silence, Luke clenched his jaw, crushed the glass in his hand, grabbed his coat, and stood up to leave. Where you going, Luke? To catch someone. He smiled, like spring sunshine. My phone was blowing up with alerts. Back at the penthouse, hands shaking, I opened it. After a barrage of failed calls, Luke finally texted. Here's another 10 million. 10 million reasons for you not to get caught. Just reading it, I could picture him gritting his teeth while typing. The system popped up nervously. He's gonna find you any minute now. So what? I'm leaving soon anyway. Wrapped in a blanket like a salted fish, I flopped onto the couch. Hey, is the mission still not submitted? The system smacked its forehead and said it'd check. A few minutes later, it came back, scrambling, voice full of guilt. Network glitch submission failed. Ha. Well, guess you'll have to do it all over again. My vision went black. I nearly fainted. I just pissed off Luke. How the hell was I supposed to do it again? Might as well die. Right as I was spiraling, someone knocked. My heart jumped out of my chest. That fast? Outside, Luke's handsome face was shrouded in storm clouds. He was barely holding back, voice low and icy, every word laced with fury. "Jennifer, get out. Now." The system, hands trembling, lit a cigarette. "Sweetie, maybe just jump out the window. Who knows? If you're lucky, you'll only break a few bones." I never should have taken that damn 10 million. I'm dead. My body went limp. I let out a hollow laugh, voice shaking. "Ha ha ha ha, whatever. I've got a death wish anyway. Let him kill me if he can." I couldn't blame myself for giving up. Luke might have seemed chill on the surface, but he was the type to never forget or forgive. Ruthless to the core. A few minutes later, the door was broken down by his bodyguards, dust flying. Luke stepped in slowly. I sat collapsed on the floor, and suddenly, my survival instincts kicked in. "System, emergency escape option, please. I think my personality's glitched." No reply. The system had logged off and run. Playing dead in the clutch moment, I was drenched in cold sweat, teeth grinding in rage. Luke's dark face gradually emerged through the haze. "Didn't I tell you not to let me catch you?" His sharp, predatory eyes locked onto me, brimming with murderous intent. Whatever, time to BS my way through. Steeling myself, I pinched my thigh, eyes turning red. "Babe, didn't you see I was just forcing a smile? I was just putting on a tough front. Don't you realize how much I've loved you? Can't I have a little pride and say harsh things behind your back?" Luke lifted his lids, expressionless. "Oh, really?" I stiffened my neck. Tears slid down at just the right moment. I turned my face slightly, frail body trembling as I cried like a stubborn little flower. Luke watched me for a while, then casually glanced around my luxury penthouse. His eyes landed on the pile of new designer bags. I clutched my chest and cried even harder. After our breakup, I could only shop to numb the pain. What I got was cold, meaningless money. What I lost was warm, living you. If I had a choice, I'd rather give up the 10 million just to be with you. Luke raised an eyebrow. "You'd give up 10 million? Yeah, just for me?" "Yeah." I nodded frantically, eyes wide like a fawn, full of sincerity and hope. He looked at me for a long while. "All right then, give the money back." I plunged into deeper despair. I'd spent almost all of it. Even if I sold the penthouse and the bags, there was no way I could scrape together 10 million. It wasn't until Luke coolly walked out that it hit me maybe there was another meaning behind his words. "System, is he saying, maybe?" The system gave me a thumbs up. "Brilliant, host. That's our girl. Luke actually agreed to get back together with you." I lit up like a Christmas tree, jumped up from the floor, instantly back in character. Heart pounding. I grabbed my phone and texted Luke. "Babe, so you're saying we're back together?" His reply came fast. "Who said we're back together? I'm giving you one more chance to win me over." Great. Time to start all over again. Back to playing the devoted dog for Luke. Good thing I had experience now. I wouldn't mess up like before, like when I bought him breakfast and it triggered his allergy, or when I brought him homemade soup while he was sick. But the mushrooms were toxic and made him worse. Even the tie I gave him when he was discharged, it was his least favorite color. I remember Luke, fresh from a stomach pump, lying pale in bed, frowning at me. "Luke, are you dating me or trying to kill me? Or is it that if I say no, you'll finish me off?" I didn't dare say a word. Back then, all his friends said Luke might really fall at my hands. Literally. At 6 a.m., I showed up at his place with his favorite breakfast. I used to do this to play the pitiful card waiting outside from dawn. When Luke woke up and saw me, he'd frown, clearly annoyed. "Jennifer, why are you here so early? Planning to sleep over?" My cheeks flushed. I smiled shyly. Eventually, yes. But for now, I just want to be the first thing you see when you wake up. The way he looked at me back then like I was insane. God, I can't believe I have to go through this cringy plot all over again. After waiting at the door for a bit, Luke's slightly hoarse voice came through the smart lock mic. Enter the code yourself. I was a little surprised. The code seemed like someone's birthday, but I remembered Luke was born in winter of '98. Luke was lounging lazily on the couch, the corners of his eyes tinged red from sleep. From now on, let yourself in. I instantly put on my teary-eyed look and asked sweetly, Babe, how come you're up so early today? His gaze landed on the breakfast in my hand, lashes casting soft shadows. Does it count if it's for breakfast? Got it, this was all to torture me. Luke slowly finished his breakfast, then asked me to go buy crystal shrimp dumplings from a place on the east side of town. I picked up my phone to order delivery. Luke said, Are you chasing me or is the delivery guy? Fine, I'll go. I trudged back with the dumplings, arranged them carefully on the table, pulled out a chair, and flashed him a gentle smile. Babe, come eat. Luke didn't even sit down. He just glanced over and said, The dumpling skin's too sticky. Vocal. I biked 3 miles back and forth for that. He didn't eat a single bite. He was clearly doing it on purpose. My lips trembled with rage. I wanted to wrap him in a dumpling and eat him instead. But I had to swallow my anger. I pitched my voice sweetly and clung to his arm. Babe, what do you want to eat? I'll cook for you every day, okay? So, at noon, I made him sweet and sour ribs, and at night, I cooked a few specialty dishes. I even tidied his place with extra care. With all this effort, even if his heart was made of stone, it should have melted a little, right? Rubbing my hands, I asked sweetly, Babe, how was today? I waited for a compliment, but he just gave me a sideways glance and kept eating. You're done. Now leave. Don't expect me to walk you out. But I still caught a slight upward curve on his lips. He was totally messing with me, mocking me, laughing at me. Fine, I'm out. Some people get to see the sea. Some people get love. And some people get kicked like strays on the street. When I left his villa, it was already dark. I glared at the pebbles by the lawn and kicked them while cursing. Babe, I hope all your ancestors are having a rough day. If it weren't for trying to get back to my original world, who'd put up with your crap like this? Wah, I miss my parents. Maybe it was just my imagination, but I felt like someone was staring at me from behind. I spun around. The lights were on in the second-floor window, but no one was there. Of course, Luke was probably inside, happily enjoying the feast I made, not standing on a balcony watching me leave. My eyes were glazed over with exhaustion by the time I dragged myself home. Before bed, I gritted my teeth and texted Luke. Another day loving my darling hubby. Then tossed my phone aside and passed out. I woke up before 6 a.m. the next morning to the alarm and headed out on my bike again. Friends, have you ever gone all out for someone? I've never worked this hard, even for my job. Luke was wearing sleek black silk pajamas, looking cold and untouchable as ever, but his eyes on me felt different this time. He even greeted me first. Yo, you're here? I flashed a big smile. Another beautiful day to be with my babe. He gave me a faint look, couldn't tell what it meant. In the days that followed, he unapologetically enjoyed my care. Total princely behavior. But the more gentle I acted, the more unhinged he got. The more I sweet-talked him, the more he sneered. I was confused. Wasn't this exactly what used to work on him? What changed? I grabbed his arm, calling him over and over. Babe, say something to me. Stop yelling that. His voice was hoarse. He walked out to the balcony, lit a cigarette. A few days later, Luke suddenly invited me to accompany him to a dinner party. Guess private torture wasn't enough. He wanted to humiliate me in public too. Fair enough. After all, I embarrassed him in front of so many people. He was bound to want payback. Night fell, the lights came on, and the grand hall was filled with the elite. Jessica stood among them, glass of wine in hand, dressed in a champagne-colored fishtail gown, her smile radiant until she saw me happily munching at the table. Her grace shattered instantly. "You fake bitch! How did you even get in here? Who let you in?" Jessica shrieked, storming over. I choked on a bite of pudding, nearly dying right then and there. Thanks for adding a little spice to my otherwise dull evening. Once I could breathe again, I leaned in close to whisper by her ear, smiling. "Between you and me, Luke and I made up. He's totally in love with me." "That's impossible!" Jessica's face went pale with disbelief. "You tricked him. You scammed his money. I won't let you two get back together. Get out now." Her shrill voice drilled into my ears. I ignored it, picked up a plate of mousse cake and started eating at a leisurely pace. To your precious opinion, I say nah. Me standing here is basically flipping off you and the whole world. Jessica's chest heaved with fury. She looked ready to pass out. Just as her face twisted and she lunged at me, she suddenly changed tactics. "Sis, please don't yell at me. I was just joking." Her voice turned soft and tearful, suddenly all pitiful and innocent. I snorted. "Little sister, your joke's not half as funny as your face. You bitch! Ah!" A quiet laugh rang out behind me. I hadn't even realized Luke was standing there. Jessica's eyes shimmered with tears as she pointed at me and whined. "Luke, this awful woman snuck into the party and she insulted me." Her manicured finger nearly poked my face. Luke gave me a cool look, lips curled in a smirk. Back together? Totally in love? He was definitely mad. I could feel it. Was it because Jessica misunderstood? I steadied my voice, forced a smile, and shook my head. No, I'm the one totally in love. Without you, I'm a fish out of water, a dying mule. All that stuff on Weibo, I posted it on purpose. Just wanted to get your attention again. It was all part of my master plan, lure you in by pushing you away. I made myself look like the one-sided pining fool, saying it loud enough for everyone to hear just to save his face. Sure enough, Luke's expression eased instantly. My heart sank. Maybe I'd only succeeded last time because Jessica wasn't around, and Luke just got bored. Now it'd be a lot harder. I was already stressing when Jessica suddenly asked, "Luke, why are you wearing a blue tie today? What brand is it?" "Didn't you always hate that color?" I might have been seeing things, but Luke actually looked awkward. He turned his head away, lips pressed tight. What I liked yesterday might not be the same today. What I hated yesterday, I might like today. I blinked. That was kind of confusing. Jessica's face drained of color. This time the tears in her eyes were real. "Luke, I knew it. You're still mad I left the country without saying goodbye." Unable to stand his cold indifference, she burst into tears and ran off. I thought Luke would chase after her, but instead, he just stood there, eyes quietly fixed on me. "Jennifer, you've got quite the mouth on you." What the hell? How did their fight end up being my fault? On the way home after the banquet, the car was dead silent. Luke stared out the window, not saying a word. I was about to throw out a flirty line when my eyes landed on his tie. I'd been too busy bickering with Jessica earlier to notice that tie. Wasn't it the one I gave him? Bought it off a street stall. 2 for $19.99. We didn't speak again the whole ride. When we got to my place, Luke cleared his throat and suddenly said, "Blue's actually a pretty nice color, right?" I choked a bit, suddenly at a loss, but still nodded perfunctorily. Yep, whatever you say, babe." Luke kept a straight face, stared at me for a while, then gave a small smirk and told me to get out. I was feeling so annoyed. I knew Luke liked Jessica. The moment she came back, he wanted to break up. Taking me to the banquet was just to make her jealous. He sulked when I argued with her. I knew all of it. Ugh, should I just switch to another target? While I was fretting, the system, silent for ages, suddenly wheezed to life. Babe, wanna change your target? Okay, totally my bad. I'll help you apply for a change. It usually gets approved. What the hell? I could have switched all along. I was so thrilled I didn't even bother cussing it out. Finally, I could dump that jerk. In my excitement, I couldn't help ranting on Weibo again. LMAO, only an idiot would get back with him. I'm out. Screw this nonsense. 2 minutes later, a reply popped up. Black avatar, 1 word. My heart dropped. Sure enough, my phone rang immediately. Luke's voice was icy. Come here, now. No thanks. I'm afraid I might smash your head in if I go. Grinning ear to ear, I hung up and turned off my phone, ready to flee in the night. 5 minutes later, the system faltered, voice weak and shaky. Something unexpected happened. Target change denied. Then tried to comfort me. Babe, just go fake it a little more. What a vicious little system. Might as well die. Face pale, I wallowed in despair, trembling as I powered my phone back on. Dozens of missed calls. I wiped away tears and called back. Voice, syrupy sweet. Lukey, I'm coming right now. On the other end, he snorted coldly. Coming to crack my skull open? By the time I got to Luke's place, it was late. He was sitting in the dimly lit living room, no lights on, his eyes like cold stars steeped in night. The bottle on the coffee table was nearly empty. So you really wanted to leave me? His voice gave nothing away. I figured he must have fought with Jessica and was now taking it out on me. Maybe this was my chance to slip in? My eyes lit up. I gave him a soft smile. How could I? I just got so jealous watching you flirt with Jessica, I lost my mind. You get it, right? Jealousy fried my brain and made me say crazy stuff. Luke stayed silent. My heart was a mess. Just as I was about to speak, he yanked my wrist and I stumbled right into his arms. The faint moonlight streaming in made his features blur, distance closing fast. His hot breath brushed against my neck. Then prove it. Did he mean kiss him? But he never even let me hold his hand before. I must be misunderstanding, right? I hesitantly leaned toward his lips. How about a kiss? I expected to get shoved away. But Luke didn't push me. He wrapped his arms around me, holding me tight. If you want to kiss me, then kiss me. Like this was all my idea. You're the one asking. Bracing myself, I pecked his lips quickly. Luke raised an eyebrow, unimpressed. That's it? What the hell is wrong with him? Not only did he not kick me out, he actually seemed into it. His hand tightened around my waist, eyes too dark and forceful. I panicked and instinctively covered my lips. That'll cost extra. Whatever the price is, I can pay. The price of getting back together. His heated gaze finally pulled back. Luke let out a low, unreadable chuckle and released me. I thought he'd refuse. But instead, he said, Sure, Jennifer, for your sake, I hope at least one thing out of your mouth is true. He brushed my lips with his fingers, unhurried. His dark eyes were churning with emotion, so intense it made my heart pound like crazy. My face flushed red, heat crawling from neck to ears. After we got back together, who knows what got into Luke, he dragged me everywhere. I was like a purse accessory, tagging along to the office every day. I told him I was bored, and he dumped a pile of books heavier than bricks in my lap. I said I wasn't that bored. Luke gave me a cool glance. You are. A few days later, I'd read so much I looked like a zombie. It was getting dark. The red sun sank behind low-hanging clouds. How far'd you get? He walked over slowly after finishing work. I blinked heavy eyes and mumbled. Wild birds use financial derivatives to catch calculus. Assuming Morm invented concrete, paired with blood circulation, it makes baked sea language crispy. Otherwise, friction increases, and causes arthritis. What the hell? Never mind. Stop studying. Luke rubbed his temples, then yanked me up. Today, he was dressed like a proper gentleman, crisp-tailored suit, long, dark overcoat, and gold-rimmed glasses on that sharp nose. Pretentious jerk. I ground my teeth and deliberately stepped closer, wrapping my arms around his waist and tilting my head up for a kiss. Hubby, you're the best. I want to kiss you so bad. I just wanted to gross him out. We were in his office, broad daylight, but Luke just chuckled and scooped me up. Here, go ahead. I stiffly declined. This might not be the best idea. I could hear the secretary's footsteps outside. Luke set me on the desk. His palm burned through my clothes, making me shiver. It's really not. But I can't resist when you're this eager. His eyes darkened as he held me tight. Who's eager here? I bit my lip, determined to call his bluff, and kissed his Adam's apple. His hand cradled the back of my head, and the vibrations from his low hum rippled through my chest. My face was burning. Thankfully, the secretary knocked and said the client had arrived. Luke sighed, pinched my chin lightly, and finally let go. Be good. I'll take you to your favorite French place when I'm done. I stared at the closed door, dazed. This guy isn't pretending to be a charming scumbag. He is one. Pathetic. Just one kiss with a guy and your face turns red all the way to your heels. The system suddenly popped up and clicked its tongue. Why the hell are you staring at my heels? How about fixing your crappy network first? My face was still burning, both from embarrassment and anger. The system wilted under my glare and quickly changed the subject. But don't you think Luke's being a little too nice to you lately? What if he's actually getting serious? What if you can't break up in the end? I pressed my lips together. Did you forget he still has that moonlit childhood, sweetheart? The system went quiet for a second. Yeah, true. Let's hope they keep fighting long enough for us to scrape through these 3 weeks. A wave of frustration suddenly surged in my chest. Feeling suffocated, I left without waiting for Luke. Great. I must have been watching too few male model videos, my brain's going haywire. Just in case, I made a new Weibo burner account and posted a rant. Male model DD. Losing my mind from stress. Take me for a ride under the moonlight. Price negotiable. Not long after, someone replied, damned. It was also a new account. I didn't think much of it. After all, shady stuff is always easier with a new handle. Forcing myself to perk up, I texted Luke. Babe, I've got plans tonight. Won't be back. He didn't reply. In the dead of night, having finally escaped Luke, I sprinted under the moonlight, panting as I reached the back corner of the villa. The biker was already there, black motorcycle parked by the roadside. A figure stood in the shadows nearby, tall and lean, casually leaning against the wall. He cupped a lighter in one hand, lighting a cigarette. The flame flickered, sizzling through the tobacco. Smoke swirled upward, and from my angle, I could only make out his sharp nose bridge and clean-cut jawline. I waved and whispered, Hey, handsome, I'm here. Cool bike. He grunted through his nose, turned his face slightly, lips curved in a half smile. My excitement died instantly when I saw his face clearly. I stared like I'd seen a ghost. Why the hell is it you? Not happy to see me, Luke said in a low voice. No, of course not, I muttered. Head down. I accidentally cheated on my boyfriend. With my boyfriend. What do I do? Help! Luke stubbed out his cigarette and walked over. Want to meet a biker? Go for a ride? Watch the moon? I turned to leave. Suddenly sleepy. I'm going home. Jennifer. Luke dropped the smile and reached out, gripping my wrist. Remember, you have a boyfriend. His voice was cold and dark, swept away on the night breeze. It made me shiver. I mumbled something in agreement. A little wronged he's the one with someone else in his heart. Yet I'm the one being policed. I sulked and turned to leave, But Luke called out again, "Get on." I was mad and started snapping. "It's literally 2 blocks home." "I'm not lazy enough to need a ride for that." Luke gave me a sideways look. "Weren't you dying to go for a ride and watch the moon? Not going anymore?" "Oh!" I got on obediently, but couldn't help muttering, "Even if I can't have the entree, I'll take a dessert." Luke's voice was tight with anger. "Jennifer!" I quickly hugged his waist. "Wow, your waist is so soft. I love it," he snorted coldly. The night breeze was chilly as we sped down winding mountain roads. He drove fast but steady. My heart was racing, but the ride never once wavered. Luke's voice was scattered by the wind. "Is the moon pretty?" I looked at the bright moon overhead, held tightly to his slim waist, and smiled. "Yeah, it's beautiful. Just one more day, and the mission would be complete." Luke had been unbelievably sweet lately. His gaze burned and clung to me. His kisses were always urgent and deep, lips and teeth tangled in fiery passion until my lashes were wet and my body limp. Then he'd gently stroke my face and ask, "Jennifer, can you even live without me anymore? You kissed me. Now you have to take responsibility." In those moments, it felt like he truly loved me. Until he said he wanted me to come with him to Jessica's birthday party today, that's when I snapped out of it. Today is May 26. The code to Luke's door lock is her birthday. Bringing me today must be part of their petty games. Close call, I almost fell for it. On the road, I stared out the window in silence. Normally I could act with ease, but today I couldn't even fake a smile. Luke pinched my cheek and coaxed. "I know you don't like Jessica, but our families go way back. We've got to show up. If it really bothers you, just show your face and leave." So I show up and leave, while you two flirt and make up, huh? Scumbag. Whatever. It's the last day anyway. After today, this will all be over. Jessica's dress was sweet and elaborate, making her look bright and lively. Her eyes lit up the moment they landed on Luke, then instantly ignited with rage when they met mine. "Luke, how long are you going to keep playing fake with this woman just to spite me?" I was wrong, okay? I apologized, didn't I? "It's my birthday. I don't want to see that bitch. Make her leave." Before we came in, Luke specifically told me not to argue with Jessica. So I treated her like a clucking chicken and gave her a polite, indifferent smile. What I didn't expect was Luke's face darkening instead. For the first time, his usually laid-back expression turned cold and fierce. "Here we go. Time for their little show. All old-school melodramas play out like this. And I'm just the vicious supporting character meant to deepen the heroine's misunderstanding." "I get it." I stepped aside with a glass of wine, hiding in a corner. From across the crowd, I looked at Luke. His side profile was sharp and aloof, eyes cold as ice. Jessica, lively and delicate beside him, actually looked weirdly fitting. I turned away and walked out to the quiet balcony. Let it end soon. Not long after, someone wrapped their arms around me from behind. Luke's lips brushed my ear. "What are you thinking about?" "You." The moonlit balcony faced the garden, roses swaying in the breeze, fragrant and unrestrained. His lips suddenly landed on my earlobe, burning skin with their heat. I bit down hard to keep from making a sound. When he still didn't stop, I whispered, "There's a lot of people here. Let's go home first." Luke paused, then dropped another kiss on my neck, soft and lingering. But then he asked, "Which home? Huh? Jennifer, are you planning to break up with me?" I froze, a chill creeping over me. Did he catch on to my act? I looked up at him, wrapped my arms around his neck, and whispered close. "What are you even saying? Why would you bring that up?" "Just one more day. Just 4 more hours. And I'd complete the mission." Luke's arm around me suddenly stiffened. "If not today, then what about tomorrow?" His eyes were heavy with emotion, the moonlight mingling with the dim glow to cast a pale hue over his face. He looked a little sad, a little disappointed. His voice was cold, yet tinged with something that felt like sorrow. If it's tomorrow, that's okay too. But just tell me. I'm giving you the choice. He lit a cigarette. As the smoke swirled, I suddenly remembered what he said that night after our moonlit ride home. One second, he was smiling like spring sunshine. The next, he went serious. Jennifer, if you want something, just tell me. Don't go looking elsewhere. And don't disappear on me. The cigarette burned to the end, but he still wouldn't put it out. I stared at him in disbelief. In my head, I was screaming at the system. Why does it feel like Luke knows about the mission? The system stalled for a long time before finally confessing. I was right, Luke really did know. Turns out this world had seen many mission runners before. Some systems were too weak. When they locked onto him as a target, he could sense their presence. The first time, he'd been moved by my clingy act and softened up to help me complete the mission. But then I blew my cover, and the task submission failed. I reached over, plucked the burning cigarette from his fingers, and tossed it in the trash. I already had my answer. Let's break up tomorrow, okay? I said it with pleading eyes. After tomorrow, he could go love his little sweetheart. I'd go back to my home. We'd return to our own tracks. The color drained from Luke's face. He let out a bitter laugh. So, after all that, you're still leaving? Turns out I was the only one who took this seriously. I dropped the act. If I don't leave, how else would I make room for your precious little sweetheart? What room? Luke's lips pressed tight. There's nothing between me and her. We only interact because of our families. It's all just an act. I glared at him. Your door lock code is her birthday. The butler set it. I didn't know. Didn't care enough to change it. He stepped closer and grabbed my wrist, gaze stubborn. Tell me again. Are you willing to stay? The misunderstandings were cleared. The feelings laid bare. But still, I gently pried his fingers off mine. Luke, I do like you. But I can't only like you. I have a family that loves me. Friends I care about. A career I'm passionate about. Luke, I can't live in this world loving you all alone. I watched the color drain from his face. So, can we break up tomorrow instead? As if he'd already expected this ending, Luke gave a sad smile. Fine. We'll break up tomorrow. That day, I faded away before his eyes. I watched his expression turn from numb to panicked, then to nearly deranged as he screamed, desperate to hold on. Jennifer, I regret it. Don't let me find you again, or I won't let you go. What he couldn't see was that there were tears in my eyes too. Luke, thank you for letting me go. I returned to my world. No system. No Luke. After nearly dying, I cut back on work, spent more time with family and friends. A year passed, peaceful and happy. Still, sometimes when I look at the moon, I remember that night, the mountain breeze, the stars in the sky, the cicadas on the roadside, and the person I was holding. My family and friends often caught me spacing out and kept trying to set me up. I always said no, until one day, my mom tricked me into attending a blind date. I sighed as Mom whispered excitedly in my ear, "This one's really good. Intellectual family, just returned from studying abroad." I frowned. I don't care how good he is. I'm not interested. Before I could finish, a familiar voice rang out. Sorry I'm late, ma'am. I looked up, stunned by the familiar face. I whispered in disbelief, Luke? My mum grinned and tactfully excused herself. I'll go to the restroom. You two chat. Luke didn't look at me. He calmly sat down, picked up the teapot, and poured himself a cup. Didn't I say, don't let me catch you again? I opened my mouth, wanting to ask how he made it to this world, but my eyes welled up instead. I gently reached for his fingers and whispered, then don't let go again.